only challenge, but it's okay to hate the black man. Black men, I'm gonna say it from me to you. This is just straight up. Black women, 80% of them, they don't like you. 80%, I am probably sure it's more, but at least 80% of black women in this day and age, it don't matter how old or young they are, they have a general dislike and hatred for you. That's your real climate, brother. See, I'm not telling you something that you ain't already felt. I'm telling you something that you know. I think it's more too. I truly think it's more too. I think it's more too. And I'm tired of being the one that's not talking about it. I've said this. This is one of the main reasons I don't have a lot of black female friends. I really don't, y'all. I don't. I couldn't imagine what it would be like as a black man to want to fuck these bitches, to want to wife them up and have babies. But the majority of your population, you want a black woman, right? But these hoes is crazy. These hoes really crazy out here. Like, it's an abundance of you that think that all men are dogs, but we all know it means black men. You don't ever roast white men, Mexican men, Indian men, Asian men. You don't ever have nothing bad to say about them. But when we say all men are dogs, you really think it's black men that are dogs. Let's just call a thing a thing. 2021, I swear to God, this the year where the truth about to rain on your head, because we can't even hide from it. You're showing us exactly how you feel. We can have a real conversation with you. If you're on Clubhouse, follow me on Clubhouse at ArtCathy1. There are rooms. I saw a room the other night, and it doesn't matter where I am. You can just overhear black women talking about the relationship conversation, and I'll be like, oh Lord, here we go with this shit. Because the undertone of all relationship conversations is black men ain't shit. Why these black men ain't doing this? I can't bond with y'all, sis. I cannot bond with y'all when you have a general dislike and vitriol and hatred for our male counterpart. Do you not understand how goddamn psychotic that is? They're psychotic. I meet too many insecure, emotional.
You know, this is a sad way to look at it. She is articulating a phenomenon that many women have become to hate men. This sentiment is resonated powerfully, and what we just saw. You know, and the reason why I am doing this video because I watched one movie. I'll only talk about two. The first one was the Color Purple. I was a young man. And the Color Purple was released in the mid '80s, I believe. I was a young man and very young man, and when I saw this, uh, I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know any black man that acts like this. I didn't know anybody that acted like that. I couldn't understand why a film written by a black woman, Alice Walker, would depict black men in such a destructive light. I had never in my entire life seen a man behave that that those especially the guy Mister was being portrayed. I'm not saying it hasn't happened because I'm sure there are outliers, but in general, people didn't act like that. I had not seen that type of person not once in my life. I, for me, it was caricatures, and it was like distortions and twisted inventions that they did that they pass it off as truth. In fact, if I'm being honest, I saw four far, far more women in the community acting that kind of way with being cruel and bitter and the venom that I ever saw in men. But somehow the film flipped the mirror, made monsters out of men and martyrs out of women. And the thing is, the world applauded this art. Even men applauded it. And I later learned that Alice Walker uh, had married a white man. I didn't know that initially. And I kind of began to interpret her work as an extension of a deeper personal resentment. One that maybe, perhaps, she found in expressing that through vilifying black masculinity. For a young, impressionable teenager like myself, that representation felt like betrayal at that time. It planted an uneasy feeling that even within our own stories created by our own people, the image of black men was something to be feared, distrusted, and despised. Now, the next video that I'm going to show you, it's kind of funny. It's Art Kathy again. She captures precisely how I feel when I run into men who don't have a sense of masculinity, and it's gotten so bad I don't really can't really identify with that energy that they have. Men who confuse silence with strength and passivity with peace. You know, and then you look at their home and it's inverted. Like Farrakhan's daughter talked about. The wife's voice is dominant in every space. Her energy fills every corner of that house. And the husband just sits there. And he mistakes her for control for harmony. And you ask him, he said, "Man, I'm just, I'm chilling, man. That's how she is. That's how she is." Nah, what it really is, he done surrendered to her authority. That's what it is. But let you check out this video. Now, as I looked at the color purple, I reflected on the color purple. It's simply because I looked at a recap, which I'll get to in a minute. Um, but I'm going back to, so many men in America who in their own home where they pay bills, and kind of what kind of unsettles me, a lot of times is not necessarily the volume of a woman's voice, but the absence of his. It's as though he's vanished into the background of his own freaking life. Not a partner, not a husband, not a leader, but a spectator. When he is supposed to be the anchor, she commands, not through love or respect, but through her being unchecked. She got unchecked dominance. And he accepts it as normalcy. We all got that uncle, or we all got that, and he don't say nothing. Reminds me of some video where a guy was in Thailand. There's a lot of guys that are like that. It ain't balance, it's erosion. He forfeits his presence, trades his backbone for keeping down problems or comfort. But this is the problem. The family loses its center. It's so bad in some countries, this is one of them. We are constantly reminded as men, both cultural narratives and social conditioning, that there is never any justification for a man to strike a woman regardless of her circumstances. We are told to remain restrained, even if she stabs us, shoves us towards an oncoming train, or endangers our life. Society demands that a man absorb violence silently, as though his pain or survival is just doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. Let me be clear. No one is beyond an ass whooping. It just matters what they did to receive one. They're my daddy's words. No one beyond it. I'm going to put this video on in a minute to give you an idea how I feel about these guys when they are like this. They don't even have a sense of masculinity. And this is how some of these movies and some of these laws come out. You know, this what I'm saying isn't an endorsement of being abusive or brutality. It's just a recognition of human accountability. The idea that one gender possesses immunity from consequences. I'm not buying that brand. You can sell that to somebody else. You know, I've always said no one should ever say to a person, don't hit women. What they should say is nobody should put their hands on freaking nobody. And if they're not saying that, I'm not buying that brand. These should be universal expectations. So, you know, let me finally let you look at this video. This is how I feel when I run into men that do not have a backbone.
Oh, Lord, I'm going to just take it out of the pillow. Oh, Jesus. Fucking clean. Sell out. Whew. Whew. Fucking. They're married. I feel better. They married. Yeah. That's what we got out here. I wanted to take him and take him by his lock, his dreads. And I wanted to knee him and knee him and knee him, knee him. Whew. Do y'all have like fits of rage that just go through your body? You can just see how you want to fuck somebody up and just go through your mind. Whew.
I've noticed a recurring trend in a lot of films produced by black women, works that intentionally or not frame black men as the oppressor and black women as the eternal victim, savior, saint. The only way to show female strength is to make some brother somewhere stumbling, trifling, or evil enough to highlight it by contrast. Recently, I watched a recap of Madam C.J. Walker. You know, I didn't look at the whole. I felt the same dread. Please don't let this be another cinematic hit piece on black men. And of course, there it was. The betrayal was painfully one-sided, bro. Like somebody ordered a history lesson, but sent it back. The part that had fathers and husbands and builders in it. Be like, nah, we don't need that. Send that back. We need some Ray Rays up in here. And let's be honest, you know, there are hundreds of these films. A March the Same Drum, Wait and Exhale, Colored Girls, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, Brewster Place, Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Stella Got a Groove Back. I mean, you know, just it's insane, you know. At some point, you start thinking, damn, did we attend the same trauma seminar. The formula never fails. The man cheat, lie, drink, disappear, violent, you know, while the while the woman rises from the ashes like a black phoenix, holding a weave and a wig and a wine glass. It's cinematic therapy, baby. At this point, it ain't storytelling. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't oppose uh, black women in film. You know, I love to see black women shine now. Well, I don't want them to see, I want them to, shine with black men, not against them. I want art that uplifts the black community, not stories that make us look like eternal enemies sharing the same address. Did anybody see Precious? Had no qualities in that movie that was worth, no redeeming quality, nothing. We don't need films like that. We don't need to have our best films treating the black man like the villain of every chapter. It becomes revenge therapy with a Hollywood budget.